Hello, everybody.
Hello, please turn that off.
Yeah, who is that? Is that the host?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, host is still going. Having quite technical difficulty, everybody. Welcome to the music.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm going to quickly try and restart the space because this music will not turn off no matter what I do.
So what did we do? We're
Wait,
good?
it turned off.
It's off now.
It's off.
It's off.
It's off
It's
now.
off now.
It's off. Okay.
I was just waiting for you to start talking. Just waiting till we got all uncomfortably nervous.
That was
well.
really awkward.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Townstar AMA. It's always good to have everybody. Got a little bit of a rough start there today, January 13th. We're just going to make sure everybody gets here on stage. Looks like we've got folks. So Michelle, let's go ahead and kick this off.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh my God, my chair is so squeaky. I apologize. Happy Friday the 13th. If the music is the worst thing that happens today, that'll be awesome. So let's see what happened this week in Townstar Live. We had a rocking horse competition this week. Hopefully everybody's towns are turning out the way they wanted them to. I'm seeing some pretty good rates on Discord, so that's good. That meta went live. We sent out the Sphere of Hope and the candy cane storages, and the Gala rewards from the bicycle competition also went out. And we got the big oak shed added to the game. We also had a lot of updates this last week for the FPS issues, which I think finally resolved themselves all out, which is nice to see. I haven't seen too many issues reported. So that's great. Hopefully people are experiencing better FPS now than they were before everything started. And that's about it for Townstar Live updates for the week.
Well, can you, I'm still pulling up our agenda. Can you tell us what's next there, Michelle?
Townstar Godot updates are next, but I believe Volcron was not going to make it today.
Okay, who's going to share that with us?
I can read what he said to say. He said to say that they're preparing for the live playtest. They've done some bug fixes and stability and critical feature work.
Okay, I can jump in a little bit. So yeah, everybody, we're preparing. Saw news a little bit earlier. Teams working very, very hard to prepare to have a live playtest for at least a subsection of our community. If we'll have to figure that out. We're looking to do that before the end of the month. And what does that mean? That means we're going to have to we want to go ahead and do some internal testing first, and then pop it out for everybody. The question that I've been asking the team is, or not the question, the request I've been making the team is, let's focus on the stuff that people will be playing for the first hour to 2 hours. Make sure that we get that experience smooth, and then we'll just keep pushing it from there. Everybody knows kind of when you start with a new engine and a new code base on a new chain, there's a lot of things that we have to make sure we get right. And so we just want to spend the time to make sure that we're doing that. So yeah, it's coming very soon. I'm seeing some notes out there. What do we need to do to get to play? We'll figure that out. Christy Purr. Yeah. So that's the updates, and it might sound a little bit boring, but because we're just going over all the code again, our QA is working hard. We have Mal and Michelle working and sort of playing what we call the happy path to just make sure that the play experience is good, looking for divergences and differences from the way Townstar Live works, make sure that all those are intentional as well. It's actually pretty amazing how big the change has been from Townstar Live in terms of the back end and the tool set and data driven methodology that we're using. So it's pretty cool. And that's the update. Anybody else on stage have more notes? I've actually been traveling a bit in the last week, so I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything.
I don't have anything.
Musashi?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
can
ahead.
say I've played it. I was banging away at it yesterday, as Rheosaurus always says. And yeah, it's nice to see it, coming along, more alive, more things added on, whatnot. So just happy to see that coming along. Looking forward to the playtest.
Yeah, it's kind of boring time. I mean, not boring time. I mean, that we just play, test, find bugs, fix bugs, play, test, find bugs, fix bugs. But it is exciting. It is exciting to see it all come together and working. It's pretty fun. What is next, Michelle?
I've only got a couple of questions from the Q&A from this week if we want to jump to those. The first one I have here is, will the third-party game tracker websites still work once we move to Godot?
Do we have somebody that's scheduled to take that, or should I just jump in?
So I think a lot of this was Volcron was going to do a lot of these, and
Yeah.
that's what, yeah. Because he was going to
Okay.
explain. He was going to explain the tech side and all of that. But maybe next week might be better. Because unless you want to go and do it.
Yeah, I can jump into it. So yeah, the trackers won't work there. But we're just going to talk a little bit about how the fast forwarding, as we're calling it, works. So as you guys have heard us talk about playing offline and not needing to keep your browser tabs open to let the simulation run. And we've kind of described why that's the case, because right now Townstar Live, actually the code that runs the logic and everything runs in the browser. And then as we move to Godot, the code that runs the logic is on the server. And there's a couple of benefits for this. First is it's easier for us to make changes and know which, know how it's all working, keep it stable. The other good part about it is, since we're running it on a server, people can't hack it and just drop NFTs or whatever they want into their client and have it work. But one of the side effects of that is when you go offline, we then have to store the state of your town and get ready so that when you come back online, we do catch up, right? So we just basically look and say, okay, between yesterday and today, how has the simulation progressed? And we do a quick speed up catch up on that. And so that's how that's going to be working. So when you see it, you'll just see a loading bar and it'll come up and it'll say, okay, loading your town, and it'll just look like it's like it had been running overnight. But we're not actually going to have the server running overnight because that would just be too much server resources. So that's how that's going to work there. If there's something else, Mal, Michelle, that we were covering, just let me know. We could go into more detail.
Yeah, I think I suppose it's around the leaderboard aspect. I suppose is the question. For now, it's like really live and updated, whereas on the new one, obviously, it's like there's the fast forward aspect. So I think that's. Well, I think you've covered it anyway, but that's what the point was.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
Some
think just on that
possible,
note, we are
perhaps.
going to make sure that we do some work to keep the leaderboard, more up to date. So fast forwarding things in a time that makes the leaderboard stay up to date. That's the only extra piece there.
Got it. Yeah, I missed that little detail. Yes, Grumpy. We see that note.
The only other question that I have from our question form this week is just about NFT 10-point earnings and Vox earnings, and if we'd made a decision.
Oh yeah, I'll give some context on this, and then maybe Mel, you can jump in. So we've been talking ever since ever since I joined Gala back in the summer about creating good, healthy economy for Townstar. First step on that was stopping the earning. I know that would disappointed some people, but it's one of those things necessary to get the economy just to start sorting things out. And then you've seen us kind of go through various stages where we talked about we're going to have to review all the then a new economy model. We did that, work forward on this, and we've always said we're going to be looking at all the NFTs and adjusting the earnings as we turn them back on so that we can have a long-term healthy economy. And we mentioned last week, we're about there, so we're going to talk about it this week. So let Mal go ahead and share some context on that and kind of catch us up.
Yeah, so we've been, as we said last week, we try and get some more to share today. And how we're going to do it, we've been looking, we've had a lot of discussions, there's a lot of thought gone onto it. The best way to explain it be brackets. So rather than it is off the rarity score number in that sense, it's going to be a bracket. I don't know the best way to explain it because we will share, I believe, next week more clearly. But for now, to explain in some way, it'd be changed to a bracket rather than it being as it is now. So there'll be different brackets depending on what the Vox falls in. And that's the basic way to explain it. And the idea is to just reduce the sort of sting, so to say, like the high dominance on the points, basically. But they go into brackets, and we think this is just a much better way of doing it, and it's still good for the Vox. And obviously, the goal is a healthy, sustainable ecosystem that just makes sense. And I will address, in which I'm sure people want to hear, is the utility. So, of course, for some time now, there's been of course, mention of what will the utility be. There's been a lot of speculation over time. I don't know exactly this second what the utility is, but sort of at the point now, we're happy to decide that it's not going to be all what was ever speculated. This one does that and this one does that and all these wild ideas people had and stuff like that. But it most likely be all Vox are equal in the sense of the utility, and something cool in the sense of the more Vox you have placed, it stacks and gets better in that sense. The way like Miranda's cards do, or fireworks and the ornaments and stuff like that. So something like more Vox, more utility type deal. So that's how I'm thinking of it for now. I'm sure people have a lot of questions. I know it's quite vague when just saying, oh, they're now going into brackets, but it's easy rather than getting tongue-tied and you said and they said and all of this. I think everyone would appreciate when we just share the official stuff, which I think is easier. But for now, the changes will be putting the points into brackets rather than the way they are now. And in the brackets, whatever that bracket number is what that Vox will earn, basically, point-wise. Do you feel like that's explained it, Sage, or maybe?
I was just going to say, so let me try to summarize to make sure that I kind of get it. So right now we've got Voxes, and they've all got rarities, right? And they all got rarity scores on them, correct? How does that change going forward when someone looks at it? The rarity's still going to be there?
Yes, so we're not touching any rarity score or anything like that. We're just sort of being more sensible in the way that we decide what the earning is. I'm doing it in the way of brackets. And the brackets will be determined. They're still going to use the rarity score in that sense of what bracket they're going to be in. Again, that'll be more clear when we share. but it's just not the way it was with all, like so many numbers all over the place. It'll just be however many brackets, and that'll be, there'll be a number for each bracket that whatever Vox is in that for. But it doesn't change their rarity score, that, because that's separate to Townstar, their rarity and individual and all of that's separate to Townstar. That's obviously the cool work that the Vox team does, and the personality side and all the games and stuff there. That's not Townstar. We just do it here. We're talking specifically on the earning side. So we're not touching like their rarity scores or anything like that. We don't control that.
Got it. So basically, right now, all boxes had their own scores and all sets of earnings. And so what we're going to do is group them in different buckets, as you said, and kind of level out the earnings so that they fit better into the new Townstar ecosystem going forward. And as we kind of talked there online, we're going to share out the numbers on those next week. It was one of those calls that we had to make actually just before our AMA this morning. We were going over the details on it. And rather than throw some numbers out and make some mistakes, we're just going to take a little bit of extra time and get it right. So we'll share that stuff next week. I think we should be able to share it before the AMA. Mysterious, do you agree on that?
Yeah, we can share it before the AMA. I'm seeing a couple of questions in the chat as well, so I can touch on that quickly. From NGK, so there will be a set of NFTs in a bracket earning different amount depending on what bracket they are. So yeah, so just so that everybody's really clear, it's just that for Vox, when we look at their rarity scores, every single rarity was having a different point earning, and that was making it really hard to make sure that all the Vox were just earning in a healthy way in the ecosystem. So adding these buckets just make it really like a lot more clear how much different Vox will be earning and how much total earning potential there is for those Vox. So it's pretty simple actually, and once we share all the numbers and whatnot next week, it'll be really clear, and I don't think we'll have any concerns there. Let me see, what other questions were there that I may have missed? The question was, when will we share this? Yes, we'll be sharing this next week. Ideally before the AMA, but we'll definitely cover it during the AMA as well. And right now, there was also a question, will The Walking Dead or Trolls start earning in Townstar? So we had said previously that all Vox will have some utility in Townstar, but not all Vox will earn in Townstar. Previously, what was stated was that Townstar Vox and Miranda's Vox were going to be the only Vox collections that would actually earn in Townstar. And so we're planning to keep that the same way it is for now. I think that's mostly everything. Was there anything else you wanted me to cover, SageMaker?
No, I think that's it. I think we just want to make sure that we get our numbers right. I'll share it with you guys. Dubstep brought out a question. Am I wrong to assume legendary styling ride will be the same earning bucket as legendary water tower?
Yes, I just answered that. We're talking about Vox here. We're not discussing Townstar NFTs. They're not in buckets because they were like a lot lower in that sense. So the idea with the Vox is it was easier to do the buckets in that sense. We're not doing that with the actual Townstar NFTs. So no, there's no need to assume stuff like that. We're not, and I wouldn't do that with the Vox neither. I think that's people start doing a lot of speculation and stuff like that. I would honestly just wait a week. We'll post and show you with an explanation because, of course, we want you to have all the information as quickly as possible.
There was a question, King Drac, TS NFT earnings, question mark? Yes, we're turning them back on when we release Godot. So that's why we're focusing so hard to make sure that everything is in line and watching, just again, the long-term healthy economy.
And they'll be unchanged. That's the important thing.
Correct, yeah, unchanged for those.
So why don't we take just a moment, talk about the light paper. So we did an update earlier in the week. It seems like forever ago right now, that we're going to be moving from Towncoin to Gala in terms of earnings inside the game. And, Mysterious, you did the update on the white paper. You want to share just the kind of changes so people understand what's going on?
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty exciting time. We're really aligning as a games team on really making sure that we're really a great actor as Townstar within Gala. So the switch from Town to Gala makes a lot of sense from a company standpoint and what we're doing there. So the actual change to the light paper was super minor. The main thing was just saying that we're no longer going to be using Town Coin, and we're instead going to be doing everything in Gala with Gala's token, right? The Gala Games token. So the fact that we're making that switch, there will be a buyback period for Townstar to Gala, so that everybody can convert their town into Gala. What's really cool about that is there's just so much more liquidity with Gala. So doing that buyback is really great for holders, just because there is more liquidity in doing that. But the actual change to how the economy works, how the game works, Townstar earnings, all that stuff, there's really no change. So I posted the updated light paper. You all can go and take a look. All you'll really see is a change from Town to Gala in there. And so we'll continue to keep that as updated as we can as we go forward, if there are any other decisions made. But that change was very, very minor, even though it feels like a bigger change.
So yeah, that's quick questions. Reading there, buyback, what network? It'll be on Jiri. So you'll take your town and trade 2 for 1 for Gala. That's on Jiri. So everything's moving over. This just makes it easier for us as a team and a company. Just really to, like I call it, put all of our wood behind one arrow. Yeah, it's a really cool change. Some of the people were asking, they said, Benefactor talked about the testing the end of the month and then the release in February. Yeah, he and I were on Slack Huddle discussing the announcements and how to share them and what to talk about in terms of town. So I think for me, for the rest of the team, it's a very simple and straightforward thing. We never have to keep worrying about, okay, how does town coin relate to Gala? How do we make sure that we keep our economy healthy and we're part of the larger Gala ecosystem? Well, as we all move over to the Jiri chain, it just simplifies the heck out of everything and makes it easier to write code, makes it easier for us to adopt features that are being done on the chain that are being worked on for other games. So it's just a good change. And I know I'm gonna jump in real quick and share a little bit of behind the scenes. I know there were some people that were worried about the conversion rate and what happens if I wait to if I convert the first day, is it a bad thing versus converting halfway through the period of conversion that we're allowing there. Now that we've announced it's a 2 for 1 trade, whatever happens with the Gala token, the town token's going to just follow it. So it's always going to be the 2 for 1. You don't have to worry about kind of it's going to be less valuable to trade today or tomorrow. The whole idea is just take care of it when you can, and when we open it up, and it'll work out well. And yes, we did, looking at that calculation, it's actually Bitbender and I were talking about it. We did the math and we said, look, right now when we set the initial price, I think it was 2.2 town per Gala. And we said, well, let's kind of give a little bit of a 10% premium to our community and just set it for 2. So that gives you a little bit more, little better exchange rate than it was before. Let's see, how some people are asking how will earnings work. We basically, when you look at the light paper that Mysterious wrote, you'll just see, instead of town coming into the game and then working through the economy process and then being awarded out, now it's just Gala that will come into the game, and then we'll give out Gala.
Yeah, there was a question in there as well, just to quickly address it. I think people are getting a bit confused around the other collections of Vox. They're not in Townstar, and there's no plans to put them in, and so no utility or anything like that. So maybe there's a bit of confusion in Discord there. It's the Townstar box and the Mirandis box. Those are the ones that have the earnings and the utility. No plans on anything else.
God, I see Burn Ride That Horse. A week earlier, the conversion rate was 1-to-1. How to justify that? Well, I wasn't part of the conversations the week before. Didn't know that there was a discussion or sharing that we were going to do 1-for-1 conversion rate. I actually don't think that's true. Maybe when you're looking at the prices between the two currencies, they were more similar, but we just picked the day. We had to pick a day, and we picked one. There's nothing nefarious in there, and actually, we tried to really give the town holders, like I said, that little extra premium. No in-game. So Dash says, where will initial earnings come from since there will be no in-game spend yet? Well, we'll do the same thing right now. When we sell NFTs, we sell them in town, right? And so it'll be the same thing. We'll just switch them over to work with Gala instead. Any other questions before we jump on to the next section? You guys seeing anything new? I know there's people asking the same questions multiple times. Different people asking the same questions. So this, remember, the audio for this will be available for review as soon as the AMA is finished. What's next, Michelle?
I think that we're moving on to leaks. I don't know if Mel's got any fun leaks for the next meta or the next ghost card. I know people have been asking. I think he put a riddle up. I don't know if anyone ever figured out what the riddle was.
Yeah, I believe the first person I actually seen get it might have been Nate James. But the riddle was, I am blue. I am not alone. It's dark here, but I hear the bees. I was the first before the rest. What am I? And that is the next meta. I also said, if you looked back, sort of 2020, well, we won't go that far back. Let's say 2021 had a traditional sort of signature meta. And 2022 also had a signature meta. One of old, one of new. It looks like a lot of people in the chat have got it by now. It's fabric boxes. Because that was the one that I felt combined both the old and the new. And it was just funny that everyone thought they'd gone away. But of course, a slight twist. I want to see uniforms flowing and boxes filled. So I've got some fun changes to see what we can do there to the fabric boxes. Because they weren't as harsh as the other ones, to be fair. It's basically just a uniform build, but I want to get that nice and fun. And then there's the ghost card. What does everyone think it is? If you remember last week, I said it might be a feed mill one, or it might be a water facility one. What does everyone think? I don't see anyone even saying it. No. Okay, so apparently no one even remembers. Oh, apparently Grumpy does. Oh yeah, funny. There we go. And maybe there's a delay. Oh my God, that's a lot. Yeah, I see most people have it right. It's water facility for your water bottles. And you'll also note that there's for January retention storage, for you playing, your reward for playing, as we like to obviously reward for playing an activity here, you get a storage, and this one's for the water barrels. So it goes nice with the ghost card that you're going to earn in January. Someone's saying both. I had a few people try and ask me to do both. I don't think so. We could have tried to be wonky with that, but I don't think we needed to. So we know now the ghost card, the meta. I don't think there was any other leaks that I had. I can't remember. I know I'll remember afterwards. Aha, there is one more. So I said in the chat last night, if you owned a crane bot, I had some news for you. If you are a crane bot owner, you no longer need a road to place the crane bot, which is nice because the builder doesn't need a road. I'm sure most people know where this is going. But then there was another thing done to the Cranebot. He's now much faster. The Cranebot is now a 13 speed. He used to be 10. Now he's 13, and he doesn't need a road. So he has had a very nice adjustment, because the Cranebot is the beast of all beasts when it comes to building, and that's how he remains. So, why am I talking about that? Is the next agenda the sale? Sorry, Michelle, I was just about to roll off with it.
Go for it, Mal. That was what was next.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I just forgot I was supposed to be following an agenda there. So anyway, the sale is going to be the Quick Builder. Okay. The Quick Builder will be 7 speed. So the best comparison, I think a buggy water bot is an 8. So just under a buggy bot, basically. So the Quick Builder, I'm now going to get the stats from Top Boy. Will the Cranebot take priority before the builder? The Cranebot should already, I believe, but this is likely easier to address on the new engine anyway. Let me just get the sales details, as I never have them prepared. Okay, so 11 a.m. PST, January 13th. There'll be 2,000 in the store, $70. Gala and credit card only. There will be no purchase limit. And for those that care, the rarity is rare. I'm being tagged. Slower by 1, Willow. The normal one is 4. An in-game builder is 4. No, see, someone has it wrong there. It's 4 in-game, pretty slow. Yeah, Ra's got it right. -2, basically, what it feels like. So that's the sales plans. I don't know what's next. If there's any more questions that I've missed.
That's all we've got on our agenda. So unless we've got some live questions from the Discord.
And working on Counselor Godot for a long time. There's people asking about level ups, things like that. What questions do we have? Yeah, today is the Friday the 13th.
Quick Builder, there's no road. Also, yes, there's no road on the Quick Builder.
So Moist is only getting
See,
updated. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I see TradeBot. I believe I said in the chat, but because we're still a couple of weeks away from a lot of stuff, rather than just every single AMA just say the same thing. I think we'll address it in again a couple of weeks, maybe if there's more thinking. If not, I'll just let you know. But rather than just every single week me saying the same thing, when I've got something to share, I will share it. But we've said it would be a good bit. We've got to get the game out, got a play test to do, a lot of work there. Then we've got to get the release done, a lot of work there. And then, of course, make sure we're getting all that stuff in. And then I can really know then, because the engineers have obviously got to get a lot done before I'm stressing them with these type of random technical questions that are, so I think we all want to work and play test that's really, as fleshed out as possible. And then, you're getting your release much soon after. So we want them working on that rather than, spending a lot of time answering very technical, very unknown questions, in my belief. So that's what I'll say. And I won't talk about it now, probably for a couple of weeks. So if you've got a question, you can ask in a chat, but if everyone can just jump in and say this is the answer, we'll know later on.
More questions out there. What else are we seeing? Are we seeing anything on Twitter? Oh, go ahead.
I see someone say any update on BT or utility. That is not a utility we're adding. maybe a confusion there, but no update, not planned.
And there's no questions in the Twitter space.
Okay. Red Fox 78, what utility will be upgraded of the NFTs? I get you. So, Musashi, you want to share a little about that?
About the rarities for the box?
Yeah. So if we're gonna, no, not about box, just about NFTs. When we're leveling them up or upgrading them, but not changing the rarity, how does it work?
Oh, so when you have an upgrade mechanic in other games, rarity is usually not the thing that you change, right? You level up. Maybe you have another vector for that. So we are concentrating right now on the release of the Godot version, and we are looking at future features like, for example, this, but we haven't really nailed that down. So it's not the moment to talk about that. We do want to modify things like levels and increase certain stats. So the things that we're looking at are, like increasing storage, for example, little by little, right? So you can start with a smaller storage number, and you can grow that, or even things like worker speed, right? So that's kind of like what we're looking at. Does that answer the question?
So we'll keep the rarity classes, but the stats on the different elements and different NFTs and different objects in the game will increase. Now, keep the rarity, but instead of pits or something like that. So a question from Violette. The mobile version, exclamation, when will it be ready? Here's the process that we're working for that. First, we'll get the web version done. And somebody's saying, well, will Godot run in the browser? Yes, it will. We'll get that done and stable. That also includes getting the mobile web version done. And then we'll look at switching over if it makes sense to turn it into an app. I think if we can, it'll be cool. But first step, it just will be much easier if we continue to work in the web to iron out all the kind of issues and bugs and move very, very quickly in feature development. Let's see, what other kind of questions? Well, and upgrades will work in competition. Yeah, so yes, when think about it like this is when you upgrade your NFT, it then becomes the new, I don't know, stats in the NFT. And so, yeah, it'll just be used. You'll be able to also bridge it out and sell it with the new upgraded stats. So it kind of adds a whole new design space into the game in terms of, when you think about it, you're like, well, you can actually buy the NFT or you trade it with someone and then you own it and you upgrade it and you invest in it. And, so it's kind of a very personal process there, sort of like an RPG character, if you will. What other questions do we have out there, guys?
Someone says, will the game stop crashing with Godot? Yes, that's the plan. Is it's more stable? FPS stuff, just random crashes and grey screens and all that stuff is definitely intended to go away, or we'll all be shouting at Voltron.
Yeah. Is there an estimate on when Town will run on its own off the browser? Are you talking about like as a PC game, or are you talking about running in background? That was from Sonosk. So give some clarity on that. So yes, Violette, the web version means web mobile. So you open your browser on mobile, you'll be able to play that. And then later, like I said, we'll look at the actual mobile app, like the app you buy in the iOS store or download from the iOS store. LV Postman Gala, so easy to get. Can you stop credit card sales? We'll keep that going just because some people would rather buy with credit cards than with Gala. Yes, it's Sonosuke. It will run when the browser is closed. And it'll just be we'll store the state on the server. Kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier in the call. We'll store the state on the server. When you come back to the game, it'll do catch up, as we call it, show you the updated state of your game. And I know there's some questions earlier about how's that going to work with leaderboards and real-time updates. We'll let Volcran come and share that. Metal Markster, yes, you're welcome for the credit card option.
Rocket Union, any news about plans for? I don't know plans yet. I mean, I'm sure someone like that will happen later down the line, though. But at the moment, we've got a lot of other things to get done. But
exactly right. Exactly right, Mal. We're part of the Gala ecosystem. So yes, we're always looking at integrating with other parts of the company, providing much, more as rich an entertainment experience as we can. And obviously, Gala Music is on our mind. Just not yet, but let's get this first version launched out there and everybody playing on the new code base. Any other questions? Team, so Townstar team, is there anything else we wanted to share today? Any other ideas or updates?
Mostly just that we're super excited. The playtest is coming. The team is working hard, and I think that's pretty exciting for the team. So just want to communicate that to the
Let's
community because
do
we're
beer.
super
What is it?
excited.
Third try. How much the earning will be against the TP? I'm not sure what that means. So, Mal, did you see De Beer's question there?
sorry, I was reading the chat. I didn't even hear what you said.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It says how much the earning will be against TP. Is that trying to talk about earnings conversion from town points? I'm not sure what that means.
Oh yeah, so it was because it went from being like it wasn't straightforward. It was, you went into like a pool of points basically, rather than the fixed amount per when it was changed. We don't have that. That won't be well. Actually, that's wrong. Yeah, you explain that one, Mysterious, please.
Mysterious, you're muted if you're talking right now.
Maybe I can jump in. So town points for regular Townstar NFTs will not be touched. It means that they will earn the same amount of town points that they did before. We are lowering the ones for Box and Box Mirandas, which means that if we divide the whole cake in the end, right, for the earnings, people who are holding Townstar NFTs will get a bigger chunk of those rewards. That's going to be the effect in the end. The exact numbers, you got to wait for next week for us to release the actual information.
Cool. Any last questions, folks?
Did anyone cover? Can you hear me, by the way?
Now we can. Now we can.
Great. Sorry, that was something crazy happened. Did anybody announce that we're going to swap store items now from not selling in town and selling in Gala, and that swap is going to happen today at 2 p.m. So just as a heads up to anybody, that the store is going to have that update coming very soon.
So no one had mentioned that.
All right. Well, now it's been mentioned. Very cool.
Ama UK. If Gala rewarded from used Gala, which is getting minted, are we going to have a doom cycle? Ooh, sounds scary. Like spider tanks when people stop using Gala for upgrading and in game. Economy is very different from what Spider Tanks does in terms of the inner guts and details, but it is similar, and all Gala tokenomics are going to be very similar in terms of the way it works, where the rewards that go out are a portion of the Gala that comes in. So in our case, right now the Gala that comes in comes from, or the town coin that comes in comes from sales. We'll just switch that, so the Gala that comes in will come from sales of NFTs, and that's how it's going to work. And we're always going to be looking, adjusting, and making sure the economy stays healthy. So I'm not worried about what's going on with Spider Tank. It's really focused on town. I saw somebody saying try number 3. What was it? Scrolled up really fast. What was it? Who was saying that? Maybe go for try number 4, so I don't have to search you down through the chat there. Oh, can we get it detailed on how to make use of the Townstar API? We'll see on that, Moise. It's not the focus right now. Our focus is really get the game ready and out into people's hands. What else? Any other questions? So API is not ready. So everybody who's asking about API later.
I've just been informed there might be a naming issue with the Sphere of Hope. I will let them know. I'm sure Rheosaur has seen it anyway, but we can get that fixed fairly easy.
I did catch that. I think it was the graphic, though, I think is what was mentioned.
Yeah, it's showing the orb, so it's showing the wrong thing. So I think that might just be a naming issue on the back end.
Okay, we'll get that fixed, and we'll have that out Monday.
Yes, D-Button, it is a very exciting very exciting time for Townstar. And Gala too, as a whole. If you guys have been watching announcements, that Benefactor's been sharing, a lot of things going on. Cool and exciting things. Feels like we're kind of entered the new year with a good full head of steam, and I don't expect things are going to slow down. I think things are going to speed up. Tesla, try number 2. If nothing to buy from the store, don't we get reward for that day? Yes, that's a great question. So if for some reason we put nothing for sale in the store and nothing comes in, how does that affect the economy? Well, we'll have a buffer, and it's really just about kind of averaging it out over time. Okay. What will happen to the Townstar Live team after the TSF release? Great question, Rocket. We're actually already starting to integrate the 2 teams right now. Cross-functional work happening. We've always been one team, but we've just sectioned it off into 2 parts. You've seen Resource and crew do all the updates on Townstar Live, and Volcron and Sashi focus on Godot. So we're now getting the opportunity to kind of put everybody together. We're all focusing on the same thing. So it's a good fun time for us as a team. All right. So that's right. We're not getting rid of Resource. Any chance to change the bi-weekly to weekly or change reward structure? You're talking about bi-weekly competitions? Mal, maybe you want to cover that.
Yeah, so we've definitely said at the start, I think bi-weekly just makes sense. So we've got some time to get some features in and get things, sort of all going and whatnot. But the ease of the way Musashi set it up and the way it's being built is that it's much easier to run. More like you have 2 competitions at once, 4 in a month, short ones, long ones, all the different types. So I think the idea of seeing more, definitely, maybe not straight away, just while we're setting up and whatnot, but more to come, and different types as well, for sure.
There's a lot of plans for cool competitions coming up. Nacho G, will Honor System be implemented for Townstar 2? Yes, it will be. Honor will be, it's part of what we call the platform, part of Gala. And so we'll tap into that. And I know there's discussions coming on that really soon. I think, I'm not sure if Bitbender shared out yet, but look for news from him. I've been at an offsite with him and a couple other folks talking about a whole wide range of issues. So look for an update on that. But yes, it will be part of Townstar. See, there was another question in there. Someone was saying, do I have to spend my town right now? No. I mean, you just traded in for Gala once we set up that trade process to work. So it's fine to hold it. It's not going to change value related to Gala because it's locked 2 for 1. Okay. So I think we're kind of winding down here. It's been a little bit of an interesting Friday the 13th, starting out with some music that we couldn't figure out how to turn off for a beat. We got that taken care of. Thank you, Atomic, for doing that. And I think we need to wrap. Anybody else have any bits to add or share? No? Okay. Well,
Hang on 1 second. I see
yeah.
this here says the Gala rewards buff on Go dot question mark. The argument for low reward structure was cheating. That argument goes away with Godot. No, it doesn't, because I suggest you should read the light paper. That's not how rewards work anymore, where it's just a fixed bracket thing like that. We've explained on a few AMAs, and there's the light paper, so I won't do it now right at the end of the AMA, but you can find that information of how the rewards will work.
We'll take one last question. Masteroe Guff. I'm sure how to say that. Sorry if I butchered it. Please talk about the new sending of NFTs through the Jiri bridge. Well, you'll take your Townstar NFTs that are ETH based, and we'll have a conversion process. Bridge, bring it over to Jiri. And one of the reasons to do that, of course, is then you'll be able to get all of the new upgraded features that we're having in Townstar Godot. We talked about it a little bit earlier about leveling up your NFTs. That'll definitely be part of it, but also because you want to be there when we start doing earning, and that's going to be a really key component of doing that. So, yeah, we'll bridge it over, and then if you're saying, okay, I'd like to bridge it out back to ETH, we'll allow that as well. And be able to make a round trip if you'd like. Yeah, Scala has its own level 1 blockchain. We do. It's called Jiri. It allows us a lot of flexibility on what we can do with the game and all the rest of the Gala games. Right. So, it feels like a good time to wrap. Thanks for all the questions. It is Friday the 13th, so I think we got through this AMA, even on this sort of, typically people describe as a bad luck day, but maybe it's a good luck day for us because there's a lot of great work happening on the project right now. And so we're going to jump back on, keep working on that. Thanks everybody for coming here and joining us in our AMA. Remember that the audio will be available immediately after on Twitter. You can get that, download it, talk about it. Again, you can just continue to ask questions because Mal, Michelle, and everybody else will be in the community here looking to help everybody out. And thank you, everybody in the community. Again, we talk about this, but when you guys are very welcoming and helping new people, that is, very key to helping everybody have a more fun experience in the game. And you might be seeing more new people coming in because, like we talked about it last week, we are starting to run ads. Some of you might have seen it. I know some of our team members have actually seen ads pop up, things that they're doing. So please do keep that going. It's really important that we keep building strong community, especially as we're getting ready for this transition to Godot. And with that, thanks everybody again. Good to see everybody online, and I can see you all here in the lobby. Talk to you again soon. So thanks everybody, and thanks everybody on stage too.